Yo, what's good, fam? It's the kid, Professor X. Welcome to another lovely edition of Crowns Up. I done forgot what episode this is. It might be episode 7, I think. Maybe 7. Let's go with 7. Or 8. Who knows? Whatever episode it is. We appreciate you tuning in. You know Crowns Up is the best place for hip-hop, faith, and culture, man. We try to motivate you, to inspire you, to keep your crowns up and walk to be the king and queen that you were destined and created to be. Please make sure you follow us on all social media, all right? In all platforms at Crowns Up Pod. That's CROWNSUPPOD. Crowns Up Pod. Subscribe, like, share. If you're listening on any platform as far as SoundCloud, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, or wherever else music and video can be played, we appreciate you. We appreciate the support, man. It's been amazing, and we're going to keep this thing rolling, all right? I got my man, my brother. He is a great person. He is a theologian. I'm a theologian too. And for those that don't know, a theologian is just a person who studies God, right? So I'm a theologian, but I always say this is my theologian, all right? I got my boy. He's a lover of hip hop. He's a lover of culture. He's a lover of faith. His name is Carl Mayberry. Carl, welcome to the show, baby.
Man, appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
What's poppin'? How you feeling?
It's good, man. It's good. Just loving the space.
Man.
Loving the space. Great introduction.
Good to see you. Sway Calloway. Shout out to Sway in the morning. He does great introductions or whatever like that. And so I try to pay homage to those that come in my space and try to do it as much because I know if one day I get on Sway, I want the introduction to be amazing. So
That's good. That was a great one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, family. For those that don't know, Carl, I want you to share with the world, internet, whoever's listening, a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Whatever like that, most people give their like credentials and stuff. If you want to do that, you can. But if you like long walks on the beach or whatever like that, you can talk about that too. Whatever works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to give credentials. I am a lover of God and culture. A black man, obviously. I think you can best kind of understand who I am if you go check out my blog on WordPress. It's the Humble Opinions of an Arrogant Black Man. That's Humble Opinions of an Arrogant Black Man. And it just kind of gives you insight to who I am, but just basically see what you get. I try to be as honest as possible, as open as possible, and as real as possible. So that's me.
Facts. Well, definitely, man, go check out Humble Opinions of an Arrogant Black Man. Carl is a prolific and phenomenal writer. He probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he's really good and insightful, you know what I mean? And you'll be blessed by it, all right? So, Carl, we gotta get into what's good with the culture, man.
Right.
All right. So this past weekend, Atlanta specifically had some major things going on in the city. All right. So first we had Music Midtown.
Right.
For those that don't know, Music Midtown is like it's like the Coachella of Atlanta. It had a mad artist. Jaden Smith was out there. Panic at the Disco was out there. Lizzo, I heard, shut it down. Travis Scott came through and killed it, and Cardi, does what Cardi does. You know what I mean? So that was big. We also had Funk Fest, where you had Teddy Riley, ATL set with the Youngbloods, and Bone Crusher, maybe Pastor Troy, like DJ Jelly was out there. It was a little scrappy. It was a whole situation that happened over the weekend. And one of the things that also happened over the weekend was Diddy brought Revolt to Atlanta.
Right.
Okay, for the Revolt Summit. And I'm sure a lot of you all have seen the footage of a lot of panels, a lot of great things, from women in the industry to how to be an influencer on social media. But the world was all talking about this political panel with such people as we know, ATL's finest, Killer Mike, Tip, and Candace Owens. And so the premise of what the world went crazy about was that Tip had asked Candace about, by the way, Candace Owens is the person who was partnered with Kanye West, you know what I mean? And they went into Trump and she's a big advocate of Trump. She went to the White House and stuff like that.
Conservative voice.
A conservative voice, right? And Tip was trying to ask Candace what era was America great? At what era? And she was fumbling over her words. She was starting to... Tip really didn't give her much of a chance.
No, he didn't give her much, but I don't think she was ready for the question either.
Yeah, she might not have been. And then Killer Mike, in such eloquence and such hood manner, completely shifted the conversation and told people when he thought America was great, which was right after the Civil War.
Right.
But then talked about what we are seeing is that two free people were arguing over their masters. Carl, what is your thoughts on this whole, Make America Great, Black people, Trump, and the whole summit panel as a whole?
I thought the summit was phenomenal. The panel was great. It really could have been, in my opinion, humbly, just Killer Mike and Candace, and maybe a little bit T.I. But I think those two, Killer Mike and Candace, definitely dominated the conversation. But my opinion on all that was, it showed, I think, overall, we just don't have a good strategy. I think we're still trying to figure out not where we want to go, but how we gonna do it. And then we're also, I think what's tripping us up is we're also trying to figure out who wants to go with us.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of what I think would be constructive conversation, which should advance us, sounds more just like infighting because you don't like my team and I don't like your team.
Yeah.
And so that's where it becomes a little difficult. I felt like Killer Mike was trying to say, like, look, it don't matter what team you on. Let's just advance, and move forward, get the ball across the line, and figure that out. I think at one point he said, I don't care, you right or left, or Democrat or Republican, burn both them houses.
Right.
And I thought, we probably need to be more revolutionary in our thought process. But I think we're not, just because we don't understand strategy or we don't do research on history. We don't pay attention to blueprints of those that have come before us have laid out. And so because of that, we just bicker. And then I think also with just the influence of social media, it makes us really lazy. Because we feel like if we can DM about it, Instagram about it, whatever it is, then we've done our part, and we don't actually put boots to the ground anymore.
It's like lazyism.
It really is.
I mean,
it really is. And I think it's because no one really wants to be uncomfortable. We're good at being outraged and frustrated and angry, but we can do all that from the comfort of our home. I can be outraged and go cry in my high Egyptian cotton sheets. But I'm not going to be outraged enough to be like, well, I'm not going to support this business anymore or these people anymore and pull my money out, which I think is the thing that we struggle with. We've been made so comfortable that even when we can recognize something's not right, we weigh that with the whole, but do I really want to put myself in discomfort to get it right? And then we go, not really.
I think Killer Mike's point was really amazing. I was talking to my wife about this, about having to do your research. Like, her point was like, I just think that Black people don't know what to do, or like how to maneuver and stuff like that, and like, is it really possible? And I think Mike was saying it is possible, but you got to do the work. You have to do the work of doing your research, of reading people's policies, going and knowing about Black history policy and where we have come from, and then make an informed decision, because we all have the power to vote. You know what I mean? And no matter what your criticism is or your skepticism is about, like whether or not it really matters or not, when you don't vote, we see what happens. We get people in offices and make policies and decisions that are not for us in our best interest. And so, I mean, granted, nothing is going to be perfect, right? But I think we as a people have to organize and figure out, like, what is it that we want? What is it that we want? What are our agendas? What are our demands? And who's going to be the person to deliver those things? You know what I'm saying? Because we do have power and money. We do change the economic system. Killer Mike made a great point of saying, hey, what if nobody showed up to work? What if nobody showed up to work? What if nobody went to no NFL players went to work? Nobody, like, what would that do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if we went on strike, that would show people like, hey, you're just not gonna just mess with us. Now, granted, black people also got to deal with the fact that, well, hold up, we losing our money, we got jobs, and we got all these things, you know.
I think that's
but that's the sacrifice, and that's the cost.
Yeah.
But I don't think we may not be at a point where we're willing to pay the cost and the sacrifice. However, I feel like until we are, we're gonna stay in the same positions that we're in.
I agree. I think that's why I said we just lack strategy.
Yeah.
If you look at any human rights or civil rights movement across the world, not just even in this country, there is a level of sacrifice that the people that are trying to get their rights go through, and that's just part of the process. And that part is oftentimes looked over. Because I thought about that too, and especially when you talked about the NFL, especially in light of just kind of the recent Jay-Z deal and all that stuff, and how everybody criticized him. And I was like, them players ain't stopped playing.
Yeah.
Not one bit, not a GM, not a coach. Like that wasn't, I don't think that was the focal point or the point. But if you wanted to change the NFL, players strike. When they want more money on contracts and things like that, we've seen it. Like, all right, it's going to be tight. You have to be prepared for a strike. But if you want to change the way things are in terms of just our social climate, then you got to step away from some stuff. If you want to, I think, well, let me back up and say this. A lot of things that people get away with now that oppress people of color in marginalized communities, it's because they're legal. Because no one's changed the law.
Yeah.
No one's done anything different about it. And so we can continue to be upset about a lot of things, but until we push people into power who have our interest, or push people out of power who don't, or push people who are in power to bend to our will, then the stuff's still legal. Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, black people, if you're watching this, minorities, white people too, but black people specifically, make sure that you are using your power and your privilege to help move and advance the culture and us as a people as a whole. All right, go vote when the elections come. Go research, go Google, pay attention, listen to some informed people, and make an informed decision. Because you matter, your voice matters, your vote matters, your presence matters, your leadership. And if you stay on the sidelines, you cannot complain. All right, this is not a time where we need commentators who's not willing to get in the game. We need people who are actually active, trying to move the culture forward. Last part of what's good with the culture. Carl, any new music you've been listening to? Anybody you want to shout out? Or
well, as always, like I said, I can't say his last name, but Toby.
Nwigwe.
There you go. That brother. Always on top of him. I said this a while ago, but I still love it. I like Chance' new album. I know you got a lot of criticism about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like you got to be in love.
Yeah, you do.
To love that album.
You do.
Or had to be in love at some point.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my top two right now that I'm listening to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Toby Nwigwe, for those who don't know, Houston, Atlanta rapper. Bars is heavy. Drops something every Sunday. Definitely shout out to you, Toby. We're definitely fans over here.
Great visuals, too.
Yeah, visuals are amazing, and fashion. I think he just got a joint with Paul Wall.
He did.
Shout out to Paul Wall and the H-Town family. And the big day. You know, I seen him perform Eternal on Ellen the other day. Great, choreography and fashion. So shout out to you, Chance. That's dope. All right, so the next segment we're going to get into is the Crossroads. Crossroads, is a time where we talk about something dealing with faith, all right? A topic of faith that we as millennials or the culture are wrestling with, talking about, trying to figure out. And Carl and I have been having this particular topic of conversation. I don't know if it's been a year yet. It may not have been, but it's been a few months, all right? And we must talk about Mr. West.
Right.
Kanye Tiller, all right? Kanye West, for the past few months, has been starting and doing what he has named, or people have named, I don't know if he's named them, called Sunday service. And this past weekend in the ATL, he showed up to New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Jamal Bryan is the pastor, and he brought his choir, and they did Sunday service.
Right.
Now, I was not able to be in attendance because I didn't know about it, but if I knew about it, I definitely would have pulled up because I have been wanting to go to Sunday service. And Sunday service traditionally was started outside in Calabasas. I think so somewhere, and Ye would just bring a bunch of church people or choir together, assemble, and they just sing songs and worship songs. Then he went to churches in California. He went to Fellowship Church in Chicago, where Pastor Charles Jenkins was the pastor, but now Reggie Sharp is the pastor, Reggie Sharp Jr. And then he just came to Atlanta at New Birth. And there are mixed reviews. There are some people who love it. There's some people who hate it.
Yeah.
There's some people who's skeptical about whether or not it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kanye trying to be a pastor? Does he want to start a church? And then there's some people who's like, man, it's exactly what I need. I needed this. I love it. Ye must be born again. I saw Pharrell had a hoodie on or a crew neck that said Ye must be born again. Well, Ye's changing his life. All right. Ye's about to drop a gospel album called Jesus, or an album. We don't know if it's gospel or not, but we can assume that it's gospel influential or at least Christian influential, called Jesus is King. Ye has turned over a new leaf. We don't see him repping as much the MAGA hats or affiliated with Trump. K has said that, his presence his change in doing the Sunday service really changed the way he is as a family man, as a husband, as a father. So I guess the question we need to figure out, Carl, is Sunday service okay? Is Sunday service okay? Can Kanye bring people together for God and it not be problematic, or is it problematic? Like, is Ye doing a good thing, or is Ye, tricking the people? What's the lowdown on Ye?
Okay, so like I said, we've had this conversation for months.
Okay.
And I feel like maybe has it been? Yeah, it's been months, and I feel like I'm trying to understand this more and more, trying to be as prayerful as possible, and to consider. So I actually did watch the Sunday service at New Birth, and I thought it was good gospel concert, good show. It was nice. Is it problematic? I think potentially it can be problematic. I think, and I wrote some of this out in that blog, but. My concern, first of all, God bless him. And if the Lord's working on his heart, which I believe he is, let him keep working on his heart. But it's all the other stuff that comes with this conversation. Like, is he pastoring? Is he going to pastor? Is he teaching? Is he doing all the things that normally as a minister you go like, you need to be trained to do. You need to sit somewhere first. You need to take some time and sort through your stuff before you get up in front of someone else and say, this is the way you should go, right? And I don't know if he's done that or not. I just don't know. I know when I did hear him speak, I was like, oh, okay, he is expressing more of his personal testimony. And then when he kind of started getting into certain things, he wasn't teaching anything on that, but just kind of sharing some of his thoughts, I thought, probably shouldn't be talking about that right now. And only because he has the influence of a leader. Whether he considers himself a leader or not, he is definitely influencing people and leading them. And so my concern is it's what I just call the Forrest Gump concern. Because it's probably a younger audience, people probably have not seen Forrest Gump.
Break down
so there's this scene in Forrest Gump. This is after he had just a bunch of accomplishments. He felt kind of empty, and I think someone had passed away. Was it his mother or Jenny? I don't know. Jenny passed away, right? Was it Jenny?
Yeah, but Jenny at this point she ain't died yet.
But he was just in a broken space. We'll put that. And one day he just said he just wanted to run, and Forrest Gump got up and started running from state to state to state, and he just kept running until he ran to the other side of the country, from East Coast to West Coast. And then he turned around and ran all the way back. And then along the way in his journey for healing, he started picking up an audience, and people started covering him. It became a thing. Folks started following him, and he started kind of leading the masses indirectly, looking for his healing, just running. And then Forrest Gump finally gets tired of running, and he goes, oh, I'm good now. I'm going home. Mm-hmm. And he goes home. And the rest of the movie, of course, is named Forrest Gump. It's about Forrest Gump. But my concern, what happened to those people? Because one of the guys goes, what are we supposed to do now? Forrest just looks at him like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, I think when the thing that might be problematic or potentially problematic, we can say that, is that while Kanye is working through his healing, which I believe he is, and I think the Lord is doing something with him, what happens because he has such a platform and he feels like this is the way to go? What happens when he decides, I'm good? Like in the movies, you just continue on with the main character and everything's fine. Mm-hmm. But in real life, you have to address all the people that Forrest left out there in the middle of nowhere because he got what he needed. And so I think potentially that could be a problem. Also, I think that might be a bit of an indictment on the church. Like, where are we at that we can't offer this thing that Kanye's offering, that we can't open ourselves up to these experiences where healing is accessible for the masses?
Yeah.
Like, why do people feel like they can't come in unless someone like a Kanye is leading them in? I think as a community of faith, that should cause concern for us, that we're not seen as a viable option for worship or healing, unless being led in by somebody like that.
Yeah.
So I think that, in that sense, I think that is kind of problematic, that a generation of people or culture of people are going like, yeah, I rock with Kanye, but not with the church. Yeah, I rock with Jesus and Kanye, but not with the church. You know? And I think that's something that we might need to look at and address.
Yeah. So anybody who knows me know I've been riding for Kanye since College Dropout. All right. Jesus Walks. Bet. You know, I was arguing in college that, you know, people were probably saved off of Jesus Walking. I don't know.
Right.
You know, we can't judge this man's faith and stuff like that. Salvation is between you and your creator, right? So the only time I had an issue with anything that Ye really was wilding out and doing was when he went into the White House with Trump, and I just felt like it was wilding. Even the slavery as a choice thing, I said, okay, maybe his wording was bad, but what he was trying to say was that we need to love all people, and that's a message that comes from Jesus of Nazareth. No one else talks about loving all people, even the people you hate, right? So I think my take is that I think it's an amazing thing that Ye is doing Sunday service. I think he is reaching lost people that the church, unfortunately, are afraid to go. He's going to the spaces and meeting the people where they are. I have not heard or seen anything about Ye preaching, teaching, discipling, or anything like that, right? I've heard accounts of people who've been there, and some have been critical of it's like very sensationalism. But it's still a good space for you if you want to be uplifted, you know, and get into a presence of the Lord. Now, I think people have made things or named things that he has not, right? Which is typical, right? We find that all the way in church history as well, right? Whereas, like, people have called this a church. He never said, I'm starting a church, right? People are saying he's the pastor. He's never said he's trying to be a pastor, right? What I do think is that he is more so trying to draw people to Jesus, right? I think he's operating like in an evangelistic perspective where, and I shout out to Edward Long and Bree with Lit Nights on Praise 102.5. I saw their episode last night where they discussed, I think they discussed it on Monday, where someone was saying something about like they feel like he's evangelizing, you know, versus like actually preaching and teaching and stuff like that. Which I think he knows his name has power. he had draw ability,
Right.
and he's using the gifts that he has to further the cause of Christ, right?
Okay.
Now, I'm with that. I don't think that it's a problem with any man who says they're following Jesus to go and do what they need to do to try to bring people closer to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Jesus himself said, yo, if they ain't against me, they with me, right? You know what I mean? And I think that he's doing the best that he can with what he has. Now, yes, I agree with you. If he decides he wants to start preaching, he wants to start teaching, he wants to start really continuing, I don't think he needs all the disciple people. I think as long as you're further than the person that you're discipling, I think you're doing a good job. But yes, I do think if he wants to get into that role, then yeah, he might need to go to school. He might need to sit with some people. He might need to get a little bit of training. But I don't think there's anything wrong with him using his gifts or his talents to be able to uplift the name of Christ or Jesus of Nazareth and draw them to him. I do agree, though, with you on your critique of the church, though, because I think we have seen that in recent years, the church has been ineffective in reaching lost people. I think the church has been more concerned with reaching more church people and just swapping than it is with going out. And this isn't in every church, because there are some people who are out who boots on the ground. There are some ministers who are out there reaching the people that's on the margins, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that the people that I know, and I think the people that you know, and the people that we talk to feel more like outcasts and outsiders than they do feeling welcome at church. And especially when there are things that happen that do not meet the expectations that either someone has put on them or they've created themselves. I think there becomes a disconnect. And so you have what I like to call lost ones. You have people just wandering, right. Sojourners looking for a place. And when they find a little bit of light, from a person that they know, they naturally gravitate towards it. And I think if he from what I can tell, like, he doesn't really do much talking. When he does talk, he tries to say a little bit of stuff. It seemed genuine from the clips that I saw that he's really trying to point people to Jesus. He's really not trying to get because if you've been to a Ye concert and if you've seen Ye previously, mm-hmm. Ye is always in the forefront.
Right.
He's talking reckless. He's out here like blah blah blah. For me, he's been like, his body positure's been in the back. He's been like real I think he's trying to tap in to the spirit and see really what's happening. And I think lives are being changed. I know at New Birth, Donna Drews, who led the people, he's the youth minister. He led the people to salvation. And there was a salvation call. He said people did get a life to Christ. Whether or not we're going to see the fruit of it, we'll never see. You know what I mean? But Jesus was offered and people did accept, right?
Yeah.
So I think if anything, that's a benefit. I'm just, and I'm a minister. We're both ministers. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm just real critical of people who are, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but I know there are a lot of people, church people, who are too legalistic, and they're again commentating on stuff that's happening in the game, but they're not in the game.
Right.
So
I get it. I mean, I'm not going to knock any of that. I think it's too early to say what it is one way or another.
Facts.
Anyway.
Facts.
But I do think that, I think that there's an issue in church, but I do think that one of the things I wrote about when I kind of tried to express it out initially was that I think Kanye does what a lot of us do in church, American church, mm-hmm. or just is that we will be impacted by God. We will receive revelation, and then we'll look at the landscape of the community of faith of the church and go, I'm going to do this on my own. Mm-hmm. And instead of us kind of joining to the body of Christ, we kind of operate, I think in terms like a cell group, mm-hmm. Where I'm still connected to you. Like there was a movie kind of talked about terrorism, but it's how terrorists operate in cells. Like, mm-hmm. they may all have the same agenda, but they never talk. Yeah. They never work together. Mm-hmm. So one gets taken out, they can still kind of stand up and prosper. Yeah. And I think in some ways the church is kind of moving into that, or moved into this place where we just don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like you can be on this corner
No, that's
doing your
real.
thing,
That's
on that
real.
corner doing your thing, and I don't care what you're doing, but we all may have the same agenda. We all be trying to get close to Jesus, but we don't communicate.
Right.
And so I think part of my critique of it, and it's not just on Kanye, but it's just kind of on how we do things currently, is that we've moved into more of that as opposed to being an actual body where we're connected.
Facts. Yeah, yeah.
And so that's where I go like, okay, so if we work inside that metaphor and this is like this kind of cell situation happening, if he does pull out and decide to go away, what do you do with the people?
Yeah. Well, my question or kickback to that is, what do we do when pastors just sit up there and leave?
Yeah, because
when people do this, we do this all the time, right? You're right. Denomination, pastors, leaders, whoever it is, they'll sit there and say, well, I feel God called me, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
God, they'll start a church, they'll do some crazy stuff, they'll resign or they'll just quit.
Yeah.
They'll just say, you know what, screw it. Like, you know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's my critique for everybody. Like that's
Facts.
it's not just on comedy. We had
Yeah,
a few, or a month or so ago now, a couple pastors who were very prominent resigned from the position, said they were gay, and they done with it.
yeah,
Right now, what do you do with that congregation?
Yeah,
that's a news headline. We read about it like, oh wow. But what do you do with the people?
Yeah.
Right. So that's always been my concern about any movement or spark or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The question I think the church has to ask, and this is where I believe in accountability and on some level scrutiny, is now what do we do?
yeah.
Like when Paul is converted and then he goes to Jerusalem, they're not asking, they're asking, is this real? And someone's saying, yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
The next thing, like, well, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with this? When,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's the question that we should be asking ourselves, not necessarily like, is it authentic?
Yeah.
It's too early to tell. You know, Jesus didn't really tell us to figure out somebody's heart.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, you know, figure out the fruit.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know.
Yeah.
And so I think in that sense, it's a wait and see concerning Kanye specifically.
Yeah.
But in terms of culture at the crossroads, most of us are looking at the church and going like, what do we do with this now? Because for me, it's never made sense. Like, how can I go to a church on one corner and we don't talk to the church across the street?
Yeah, yeah.
And neither one of us are talking to the community.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of us drive in from someplace else
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
to this
yeah,
church.
yeah, yeah.
And that's always been unsettling for me and never really made sense. And I think Kanye speaks to a demographic that's oftentimes overlooked, which
Yeah.
is a young adult. The late teens to early 30s.
Or even the creatives, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
the artists who can't
yeah.
find a place on the organ or the
Yeah.
drum or in the hymn book, and they want to create. And because we are so used to church looking a certain way,
Yeah.
we shun in a certain way creativity. Like my professor tells us, one of my old professors, Sean Adams, shout out. He tells this great story about him encountering Kirk Franklin when he was in college.
Yeah.
The first time. And he said that he was singing in the choir and this little guy walked in and tried to teach a song. And he said by the end of, he said the little guy was saying how much he was going to change the way gospel music is. They're not doing it right. And, you know, it's just old and it's dying and it just needs some new life. And they had made up in their minds, the entire choir over there, I think he went to Oral Roberts University, had said, oh, this dude's a heretic. And he said that dude was Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like we don't recognize and we push back so hard against creativity
Yeah.
that creatives don't have a space.
Yeah.
Like where is the poetry and the
Yeah.
new music and
Yeah.
but what church will do is we'll grab the already made beat that was
Facts.
single
Yeah.
10 years ago and go like, let's remix this.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is weird.
Yeah, I think for those who are on the outside, because I was hearing stories about how like people was walking, they was giving altar calls, and people was just walking up with their phones, you know what I mean, and they were trying to get their sneakers signed, you know what I mean, and like, but you're drawing people to a place that they've never been before, you know what I mean, which is where I'm like, y'all have to have, not just New Birth, any church or anybody has to be cognizant of, if you want to reach people who are not in your lingo or in your space, you gotta be conscious of that. You gotta make precautions. Like I was just at this this conference for pastors and leaders, and a lot of them are from a specific denomination, and I'm not from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they would use lingo, and they would be talking as if we all are from the same spot. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, I'm asking questions like, yo, what are you talking? I'm lost in their space. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go to a new job, you know what I mean? They have their own language, their own culture. So when you walk in, you got to get hip to that new language, that new culture. But people who are in power and positions need to be okay or be cognizant of that, you know? And so if you're on the outside and you looking for a space to find authentic relationship with God, authentic relationship with Christ, authenticity, I think you need to trust your spirit, your gut, your instinct, and be drawn to where you feel like that is. And if for you, that's a Kanye Sunday service, bet. Yay. If for you, you're doing this and you feel like this is where the spirit is leading you and, you know, God is, you know, wrecking your life and he's changing and transforming, I'm with it. Like, you know what I mean? We got to be able to be okay with the nuance and the complexities of people and seeing things and not in its perfect state. Because we're not perfect. None of us are. You know what I'm saying? And churches, if somebody from the church is watching this, yo, welcome people and treat them well and don't demoralize them or demean them or shun or ostracize them and make them go into the margins because you're not comfortable with them. Because the whole point, Jesus said it himself, I came for sinners, right? I mean, I came, people who are well don't need a doctor. Right. I came for those who recognize they sick, you know? And so let us not be so Pharisaic, and let's be more disciples. And recognize even in being disciples, we don't get around. The disciples were mad at the people on the left side who was preaching Jesus, but they wasn't preaching the way that they were preaching. You know what I mean? Like, let's all extend grace and let's pray for Ye. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I think Ye has a powerful testimony. I think he has a powerful story. He has a powerful message. He has a powerful influence. And just like the Force or the dark side, I pray that he will use it for the Force. Even though temptation and the evil one is there ready to pull him back into a different state. And time will tell. You know what I'm saying? Time will tell.
Well, I think that's the thing that we don't give people any credit for anymore. We act like everybody has to be you got to go from devil to angel.
Right.
And
0 to 100. Right? Yeah.
We don't wait for process. Or we are scrutinizing Kanye West like, what is he doing? Should he be doing it? You know. And even I had to kind of go like, well, you know, give this brother some time to figure out what he's actually doing. And that's where my critique became more about the church and less about him. Because I think he's doing what a lot of people do. He's not the first. He's someone with status. Mm-hmm. But he's not the first person to go, I hear Lord, I'm going to go do something about it. Yeah. And start getting a whole bunch of people to follow him. Yeah. And they may not be qualified to lead these people. He's not the first to do that. Like you said, pastors do it all the time. But I do think we got to give this brother time. I do think we have to figure out a way in which we can be open in the community of faith to people who don't look like us, who don't have the same language as us or
stories or backgrounds.
Right. Yeah. And that's the weird thing that I think we're not doing. I kind of see this as I'm working with a certain group of just marginalized young adults. I go, I don't see anybody inviting these folks to church.
Right.
I don't see anybody coming and talking to them about the opportunities that can be found inside the community of faith.
We ain't got missionaries no more.
No,
at least we definitely don't have no urban missionaries.
We're definitely developing into having kind of a cool kids gospel.
Yeah.
You know, we want this person to come to Christ because they got a good career.
Yeah.
They can give a good check.
Yeah,
they look good. You know, they don't smell bad. They don't have any mental illness or disorders. All that good stuff. We're definitely kind of moving our marketing, if you will, towards people that we perceive that we want to hang around. Yeah. As opposed to just going after whosoever will. So
right. Facts.
I do struggle with that.
Yeah, man. So I think that was a great Crossroads segment. Drop a comment. Hit us up, Crowns Up Pod. Let me know. Text me, whatever. You know what I mean? Let me know how you feel or what you think about this. If you disagree, if you agree, it's okay. We can agree or disagree without calling each other trash. I mean, if you want to call me trash, that's fine. But without like destroying each other's character as well. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, man. That's dope. That's dope. All right. Our last segment, everybody's favorite segment, is Top 5. All right? Top 5. So top 5 is where we list top 5, list of whatever we feel like it, care about. Usually it's about hip hop, or it might be something about culture and stuff like that. And since we're on the topic of Ye, I just feel like it just makes sense to let's keep talking about Ye. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go and figure out what are the top 5 Kanye West songs of all time. Okay, Ye has a plethora of body of work. You know what I mean?
Now, are we going by like songs they just want on the chart? Or
No,
just,
your top your top 5 Ye songs. Okay. You know what I mean? Because and you might be able to put somebody on a song that they try to kind of like slept over or didn't pay attention to or whatever like that. Because we know Billboard and the charts don't always get it right. You know what I mean? There's a certain algorithm and stuff, but there might be a Ye song that really touched your heart or whatever like that, or really was transformative that you listen to consistently or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. So we're gonna go top 5 Ye songs. All my Ye fans, like Killer Cam, if you sit there and watch this and you disagree, fine. All right, so what? Come on the show and you can tell me your top 5 songs. But let us know what your top 5 Ye songs of all time, and if we're on or if we're off too. Again, Crowns Up Pod, follow us, subscribe, share. So, Carl, give me your top 5 Ye songs.
Okay.
For you.
Jesus Walks.
Is that, we listen in order or we just...
No, it's just no particular order.
Okay, no particular order. Okay, Jesus Walks. All right, bet.
Gold Digger.
Okay.
Because the reason why it's the top 5, because every time I hear that song, I was working in the airport, and this old white man came up singing the song. And he had me cracking.
Okay.
He knew it word for word.
Yeah.
But that memory is just a great memory. Was it Can't Tell Me Nothing?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Man.
Yeah.
That goes hard.
Yeah.
That goes real hard. Let's see. This is where it gets murky because there's like 7 other songs I feel like that can that can fly into this.
Yeah.
Let me scroll through my albums right quick. No. Touch the Sky.
Yeah.
Just listen to Touch the Sky again.
Yeah.
I think that one was slept on song.
Yeah.
I think Touch the Sky.
I agree.
Definitely slept on.
I agree.
And then I think the last one I would have to go with is All the Lights. That'd be my list. If I had to make my little 5 playlists, those would be my songs.
Yeah.
Those would be the ones I could put on over and over again.
Okay. So we got
Jesus Walks,
Gold Digger,
Can't Tell Me Nothing,
Touch the Sky, and All the Lights.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are good options. Some of those are on mine. Some of those are definitely on mine. So I'm gonna start off with Power. The beat alone, is crazy.
Yeah, that's how Kanye at his best right there.
Every superhero needs his theme music. Yeah. Oh, no one man should have all that power. Woo! That joint is hard. So we're gonna go with Power. We're gonna go with All of the Lights.
Okay.
All of the Lights is one of the best stadium songs ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and just the fact that he could get so many people on one song and just, it's amazing. All of the Lights. Definitely Touch the Sky.
Okay.
Definitely Touch the Sky. If you don't have Touch the Sky in your playlist or on your drink, and when you hear that click, 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 boom, and that don't do something to your soul, dog, I don't know if you should be listening to music or what's happening to you. Right. Touch the Sky, come up in a spot looking extra fly till the day I die. I'ma touch the sky. Woo! And Lupe's introduction was on Touch the Sky too.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's there. So I think that's 3. I am gonna have to go with Jesus Walks.
Okay.
Because shoot, I made a song sampled off of Jesus Walks.
Right.
Like, Jesus Walks
That's right.
is a phenomenal song. I'm not here to argue about your facial features. I'm here to convert atheists into believers. I'm just trying to say the way school needs teachers, the way Catholic needed regions, that's the way I need Jesus. Oh, yay! Ye was talking that good, and in a time where people were not trying to profess Christ at all.
It was controversial.
It was controversial.
I remember that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Then he had the remix with Mason Common on it. Like, whew. Okay, so that's 4. So my last one is really hard to cut because there's so, when you have such an artist with so many banging records, it's like, where do I go? You know what I mean? So I'm going to go this last one. This may be an unpopular one, but then I will mention some honorable mentions. And I think we can throw out some honorable mentions that I think are good. My 5th one has got to be Last Call.
Really?
Last Call. This is why.
Okay, I didn't think you were going to say that. Okay.
First of all, College Dropout helped in my spiritual formation. It helped in my it helped in my formation. You know what I mean? That's a classic album. And Last Call, his story, listening to his story of how he got to Rockefeller Records. His beat also as well is phenomenal. Yeah. He has Jay-Z and everybody on it, just telling the story. But when he said, I'm killing y'all niggas on this lyrical shit, mayonnaise colored Benz, I push miracle whips. Oh! Yay! Now, I know I have scrutinized Ye on whether or not he write his rhymes or not. However, this was pre-ghostwriting. It has to be you couldn't be a ghostwriter in the early 2000s trying to get on with Rockefeller Records.
No, because man, they just finished shaming Diddy.
Yeah.
For all his
right. So Ye had to have written that. You know what I'm saying? I think Last Call is a great song. I think the music, the musicality of it, I think his story and his passion is really great. You know what I mean? That's when I was like, yay, I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? So again, my 5 are gonna have to be Power, All of the Lights, Touch the Sky, Jesus Walks, and Last Call. But let's give some honorable mentions because there are some honorable mentions. Definitely Monster.
Okay.
Monster is an honorable mention to me. It was really hard because for me, it showed Nicki Minaj was a phenom and a beast. And I'm a huge Nicki fan. Those that know me know I'm a huge Nicki fan. And I feel like she bodied it. I think that was a great joint. Some would say So Appalled.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So Appalled. I'd have to give it. Even Runaway. Runaway, I have to give a good honorable mention. I know some might even want to do Blood on the Leaves. I'm not a fan that much. I like the sample of Blood on the Leaves. I really was trying hard to give Famous and Father I Stretch My Hands.
I was thinking about Father I Stretch My
Hands. But the verse to Father I Stretch My Hands is not that great.
No,
sorry.
It's not.
But the chorus...
Yeah. That's
and the beat and the way Metro brings, I was like, Father Stretch My Hand put me into worship. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely right.
But the verse is, I'm not a fan of. You know what I mean?
Did you say Last Call?
I said Last Call.
Okay.
There, also All Falls Down is definitely a honorable mention because the whole verse about, even if she ain't, and you still, even if you ain't, you still in the coop. We all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. And even sampling the Lauren joint from Def Poetry Jam. You know what I mean? Classic.
That's true.
I think also Champion by Ye on Graduation is hard as you know what I mean? Especially said, I wish Miss Hill was back. What he said, Lauren said her heart was in Zion. I wish her heart was still in Ryman. Who the kids gonna listen to? I guess me if it isn't you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? I think that was a powerful thing. Heartless too. We sleep on 808s and Heartbreak, but Heartless.
I might have to go back and listen to Heartless now.
Heartless was pretty good. And even the song with him and Wayne on it. I don't remember what the name of the song is with him and Wayne on 808s and Heartbreak, but that was good. And then the song, I like the joint with him and Kendrick on Is It Life of Pablo? Is it LA Nights or Nights in LA or something like that?
So let me ask you about Life of Pablo, because I know a lot of people did not like Life of Pablo.
I love Life of Pablo. I thought Life of Pablo was better than his previous. I thought that was like, okay, I'm seeing remnants of the old Ye come back.
Okay, because I like Life of Pablo too, but someone told me it was supposed to be like his version of a gospel album. Did you
Some people
Did
said
you hear that?
I did hear it. I don't think it.
I like Life of Pablo.
I think Jesus King is going to give us the version.
Yeah, that's probably going to be that.
But yeah,
I actually loved Life of Pablo.
I love Life of Pablo too. I thought it was really good. It's not in my top 5 of his album, but I think it's maybe it is. Well, of course the 3 sets. You know, I got to go with College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation.
Right.
Then after that, then it's either Life of Pablo and Twisted Dark Fantasy for me, or maybe 808s, but not probably not.
Twisted Dark Fantasy just went. It got too dark for me.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite album, but apparently people be like, "That's him at his best." Well, I'm like, it wasn't my favorite.
I don't think it was.
I wasn't that much of a fan of it, but
I think it was him probably his most artistic.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know if that necessarily means it was his best.
Yeah. True. I hated Yeezus. I think everybody hated Yeezus.
Yeah, I might like that.
But I hated Yeezus. And then this last one, Ye. I was Ye was all right. You know, it wasn't that great. It had a few, but nothing too great. Even Watch the Throne, I wasn't a fan of. I know this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I was not that much of a fan of Watch the Throne because of what I expected out of them two together. Sonically, I didn't feel like it was that. Although it gave us Niggas in Paris, you know what I mean? That was pretty good.
That was a good one. That was good.
Otis, and even the joint where he samples Otis Redding again. I think at the bottom. These are the. I hear the song in my head. I don't remember, but it's a real soulful joint. Where he talks about having kids and stuff like that. I thought that was really dope.
Okay.
It's called the some. Y'all drop a comment if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, please, because I got a blank on that.
But yeah, any other honorable mentions from Ye that you're like, how could y'all forget?
No, you hit them all except for the greatest of all. When he was it? I love Kanye. What is the one where it's just him goofing off, but he's talking about how much he loves himself.
What?
It's like a interlude. It's not even a whole song.
Is it on like College Drop?
No. This is what album is this? Now that I'm sitting scrolling through them.
I do like the one where he was like, I miss the old Kanye. Yeah.
What album?
That was on Life of Pablo.
Okay, that's why I love it then.
Yeah.
But that I think was the best. It was just funny to me.
Yeah.
So he actually knows.
He knows. He knows, right.
That's why I love it so much.
He knows what's happening.
He actually knows, right?
Yeah.
He's self-aware.
Yeah. So I think that's a good top 5. What do you think, Carl?
Did we say Can't Tell Me? Never said Can't Tell Me. That was mine. Yeah.
I like Spaceships too. I've been working these slave shit. I ain't made.
See, the thing about it is, even if lyrically it's not that great, he has these amazing beats.
Right.
That
I also like his yes, the beats, but also when he's featured on songs too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He makes sure, like, you know, he's gonna tear it up. Like the Poker Face, the Kid Cudi joint, him and Common, or is he on? Maybe he just produced the Talib Kweli joint, Got to Get By. See, he's not on Got to Get By, is he?
I don't think he's on that one.
But yeah, his production is just out of this world. You know what I mean? But when he gets on a track, you know, you're always gonna get some memorable, like what is it? Marvin and Chardonnay, the Big Sean joint.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
That's about Who Gonna Stop Me. Did you say Who Gonna Stop Me?
No, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
Who gonna stop
that's
me? You know.
That's right.
Yeah. So that concludes top 5. Again, feel free to argue with us or drop a comment or share or like or something like that. Subscribe. Carl, if the people want to get in contact with you, if they want to follow you, if they want to like tune in, where should they go? How do they reach you?
My Instagram is I don't even know what that thing is. I don't ever use it.
Isn't it Carl212 or something?
Is that what it is? Carl212. Instagram.
I can't look it up.
Carl212. Also, my blog, Humble Opinions of an Arrogant Black Man. That's humble op at WordPress.com, I believe. So you can find me there. And
humbleop.wordpress.
Yeah, .wordpress.com.
Okay.
You can find me there and Instagram, and that's probably where I'm gonna answer if you need me, and hit me up. I'd love to hear criticisms, critiques, and comments.
Yeah. As always, you can follow me, Professor X, at PROFEZZORX. That's PROFEZZORX. Follow the Crowns Up podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Crowns Up Pod. CROWNSUPPOD. All right, you know what it is. It's the bringing you the best in hip hop, faith, and culture. We're keeping your crown lit and your soul fit all the time in all things. Remember, keep your crowns up. It's X. I love y'all. Be blessed.